Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LaKeisha J. Richards Show. I am your host, Prophetess LaKeisha J. Richards. I want to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, this is where we meet each and every week. Every Thursday, we are here in live and living color. So I am excited to have you. I don't want to prolong the time because, listen, time is waiting for nobody, and I have a very special guest. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to like, I want you to tag, I want you to share, I want you to tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody that we are on. As always, I have to take a moment and stop and thank the founders. I'm talking about Apostle Alton and Apostle Nikkei Natson. They are the founders of this amazing TV network. I'm talking about the Zenith TV network. So again, do me a favor, like, tag, and share. Tell somebody that we are on. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my special guest. I'm so excited about this woman of God. She's doing some amazing things. I am talking about none other than Minister Glenda Moton. Welcome, sis.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Richards. Thank you for having me on. I count it an honor just to be here for your listening audience and to share some good news and wonderful things that's happening, within our community. So, yes.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for taking out of your schedule to come and join us here at the LaKeisha J. Richards Show. We are excited each week. I like to bring on new guests and so that they can share and just let us know what they have going on and help to encourage, our community. But I want you to take a moment and tell us, who is Glenda Moton?
All right. So my name is Glenda Moton, and I reside in Pembroke Pines, Florida. I'm an educator, a life coach, and a minister. I've been an educator for approximately 23 years, a life coach for approximately 2 years, and of course, a minister for 2.5, almost 3 years. And I'm the oldest of five siblings, and just just enjoying myself, educating and teaching in the school system. And I work for the Office of Professional Learning and Career Development with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So right now I'm on assignment to support our teachers because there's a teacher shortage, in South Florida, and so I'm enjoying that as well.
Amen. Well, we want to say thank you so much just for your gift and just all that you do for the children, because just as you said, and it's not just in Florida. I was listening to the news on last night here where I am in North Carolina, and I think it's just across the board that there is a shortage of teachers. And we really have to pray in this day and time because our children, at least for the last 3 years, they have suffered a lot when it comes down to education. And being that you have been in the education system for 20 years, can you just kind of tell us how these past 3 years, how it has really impacted the children?
Wow. Great impact. I tell you, they lost 3 years of learning due to the pandemic. And the most important thing was that their social emotional learning, the social emotional aspect of this whole pandemic. Some students didn't know how they were going to eat. They suffered through just their feelings. And so I had done this activity called Hopes and Fears. And, when this pandemic hit, you heard about a lot of adults, people were dying, et cetera, but no one was asking the students or the children, well, how are you feeling? And so when I went back to school, I asked the students, I said, what are some of your hopes and what are some of your fears? We started with the fears first. And believe me, it blew me away. Anxiety, depression, suicide, loneliness, not knowing if they were going to be able to come back together as a family, and just a sense of hopelessness. And so it really required me as an educator and other educators to really think outside of the box, because being in the classroom in a setting like that, I was dual modality, which meant that I had students in the classroom and online. Well, there weren't that many that were in the class. However, the ones that were online, you really had to think outside of the box to engage them and to encourage them and to motivate them and, to really pray behind the scenes, so that we could maintain some kind of stabilization, or just keep things flowing. So it was not easy. It was difficult, and we had a lot of conversations just to clear their thoughts, and so that they could just see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So not only was it difficult for students, but it was difficult for teachers as well.
Yeah, I can imagine, and as well as the parents, they're trying to still go to work, provide for the home, but
Exactly.
then you're not sure, how things are going to move forward with school. Are we going to be at home? And it was just so much transition for everybody. And I'm still seeing that there are a lot of children who, at such a young age, are going through, like you said, the anxiety and the mental
Aspect of it.
issues. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And it just breaks my heart. For those who are watching live and those who may be watching the replay, as far as the teachers as well as the parents and the students, what advice would you give? What type of encouragement could you give? Because there's still many that's struggling in that area.
Yes, there's still many that are struggling in the area, but I will tell you what has really helped me and helped students is writing,
Mm.
journaling. That really helped. Exercising. We actually, the students published a book called Hopes and Fears: Learning Academically in a COVID-19 Environment. So we have different strategies in there that if you're dealing with um, how to deal with coping skills, if you're overwhelmed, if there's anxiety, if there's loneliness, if there's sadness. So journaling helped a lot. I think, even for adults as well as for children, that when you can write and get it out, sometimes taking long walks, sometimes, walking to the park, breathing exercises, knowing how to breathe in, breathe out when you feel overwhelmed, or just playing some music or getting into a quiet place. But writing was the essential component for my students being able to actually deal with what they were going through.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I think that is so good because sometimes you really can't say what it is that you want to say openly. And writing can be so therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, at least for me, I love to write. I love to write. And I think that's a great way for our children to really be able to express themselves. And I love what you said about hopes and fears. That was actually your first book. Is that correct?
That's the second book.
Second book. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So talk
Yeah.
to us about that as well. And was that inspired because of the pandemic?
Actually, I had taken a professional learning class, and one of the icebreakers was, "What are your hopes and fears?" It had nothing to do with the pandemic, but that was one of the activities. So when
Okay.
I went back to school, and I said, you know what? Let me ask the kids how they're feeling. So hopes and fears. So what are your fears? What are your hopes? And then when I written it down on the board, I said, I think maybe we'll write a book about it. What do you all think? Well, most kids, some may not like to write because of the fear of writing, right? But I
Right.
said, why don't you use the power of the pen to tell your story? That's what
Mm.
it's all about. Using the power of the pen, using your voice to tell your story. And basically, I only had hopes and fears. I didn't have the second half of it, but I was driving, speaking with a friend of mine, and basically she was saying learning academic, and I was like, okay, okay. And then as I was driving along, I said, oh, I got it. Learning academically in a COVID-19 environment, because that's what we were dealing with, and that's how that whole title came about. And so we had approximately 33 students who participated in the project, and it was wonderful. And even one of the student authors actually wrote a song about it titled Hopes and Fears. It's absolutely beautiful. They had received, national recognition with National Public Radio. They We all were on the front page of the Miami Herald, on the local news. And then, of course, I was featured in Time Magazine as one of 29 educators that helped save the school year during the pandemic. And so, as a result of them writing their stories, using that pen to tell their stories, the power of the pen.
Wow, the power of the pen. I
Mhm.
love that. I love that. I mean, how did that make you feel just to know something as simple as that book? hopes and fears.
Wow.
Did
It
you
just
see
shed a
any?
whole new light, Ms. Richards. It was
Yeah.
just absolutely phenomenal, but more for the students because I am just the co-author. There was another teacher that worked on the project with me, Taisha Bryant. And so we were the co-authors. The students are the authors of the book because they wrote their stories. But, they were recognized and it made me feel wonderful. And we did have a book signing, which was sold out. And the parents were so proud because, look, no one expects to come in ninth grade. There were ninth grade students and have your ninth grade year upended due to a pandemic. You're coming in, you're thinking you're going to have a lot of fun, you're going to meet new friends, you're going to go to the prom, you're going to do so many different activities and things like that. But all of that was placed on hold. Everything came to a stop. So when we had the book signing, like in December of 2021, 2021, the parents were so proud because you know what? These are ninth grade students who are published authors. They're now in 11th grade. Next year, they will be graduating. So, just think that they can take a school project and they can actually write that on their resume, include that on their resume that they are published authors. And so that's the big walk away for me. And the mere fact that they were able to express themselves during such a very difficult time, that a lot of people, were suffering and a lot of people, died as a result of it. So that.
Exactly. I mean, can you just imagine the impact that you
Mhm,
made,
mhm.
in the lives of those students? And like you said, with them graduating, they are published authors.
Yes.
And all of this was done in a pandemic.
In a pandemic, yes.
Wow. Wow. That's something that they will never forget. And who knows, even with that deposit, what you helped to stir up even on the inside of them. Many of them may didn't even feel like they could write anything. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
now they may go on to be um, writers of more books.
Yes. Number one bestsellers.
That's what I'm saying. Even in the midst of a pandemic, it's
Yeah.
amazing how God will take the things of this world and turn it around, and we get glory out of it. He gets the glory out of it, and
Yes.
I'm just so thankful that even in a negative situation, that they were able to use this to turn things around for them and be able to move forward even in life. So I just want to say again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had not heard of that. So that in itself is powerful. And if there are any other educators that are listening, take her advice because, our world will never be the same. The school system, education will never be the same. But it's amazing how God will use just little things such as this to be able to bring huge impact to our students. I was excited when I heard about it. And so, again, just thank you for just being sensitive, even in something as that. So talk to us about, so you have 3 books, correct?
I have 3 books. The first book was done back in 2015. It was called I Read, I Think, I Write. I got
Okay.
that title before I went to the school that I was working at. And basically, it's based on a story. All these were ninth grade because I taught ninth grade reading and ninth grade honors. And so basically, the first book was based on a book called We Beat the Street. It was about 3 African American men that made a pact in high school to become doctors. They are all doctors today. Dr. Hunt, Dr. Davis, and Dr. Ramick in New York and New Jersey. And so I said to my students, you all experiencing some of the same things that they were going through, bullying, self-esteem, just friends being locked up, friends being killed, and things like that. So I said, why don't you write your story? And I said, we're going to call it I Read, I Think, I Write. I'll never forget, Ms. Richards. I used my Android phone and took the picture, which is the front cover of the book, and my students wrote their stories. But let me say this to you. These students are probably, I think they've graduated now from college. They're also published authors as well. But what I really didn't realize is that when I had someone working with me and she says, have you really read their stories? And when I went back in and started reading intentional, like, really, and saw the pain, the trauma, So much so that we had to get permission from their parents to have social services come in to talk with them. So it's so imperative, even as educators, that we, I don't have any children, biological children, but the ones that I teach spiritually, I'm just teaching, that we are attuned and that we listen and that we observe and all of that, because our children go through so much. The death of a family member, being bullied, family incest, self-esteem, all of that. And so they were able to take the pen and write about it. But at the same time, that if it's never dealt with, then that trauma is still there. Because what happens is that when they graduate and they go on and they perhaps go into different jobs and try to go into relationships and marriages and things like that, if the trauma is not dealt with, they carry that baggage over into friendships, relationships, jobs, ministry, et cetera, et cetera. But until it's dealt with through prayer, through love and support, and people that are going to take them underneath their wings, they say it takes a village to raise a child, that's important. And so for me, I recognize that, so much so that when I started reading, we had met one Sunday and I had to leave and go into the sanctuary to get myself together, because it was a traumatic experience for me just having read those stories. And so they're doing fine now, but it's important that we really listen and be in tune to our children, even if they aren't our children, because as educators, I'm trained to observe, to listen, to see when things are just not right, not normal, and address it. And then when I address it, try to seek the assistance to help that particular student or child.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you touched on bullying, because we see that so much in the school system as well. When I was growing up many years ago,
Mhm.
they used to say, what go on in this house, stay in this house. But that is not always a good thing. You need to be able to have someone trustworthy that you can talk to, because like you said, it starts off, but then they become adults and they can't even really move forward like they need to, because they're still hurting, they're still angry, they're bitter. Talk to us, because in our community, a lot of times they make us feel or make us believe that you should not reach out to a therapist. But I believe therapy plus Jesus.
It's a
Hello.
good combination.
Is a good combination. Yes, yes, and yes. But
Yeah.
we've had that myth, I think, in our community for so long, and now we're seeing it's okay. It's okay to have a therapist. It's okay. Um,
Absolutely. Mhm.
but I want you to just share that, because just listening to you and just hearing, just some of what you shared on tonight, there may be someone that's watching, a parent, or it could be a student. I don't know, because we have so many people that watch.
Mhm.
Um, let them know it's okay. If you
It's
have
definitely
unresolved,
okay.
yes, if you
It's
have
definitely
unresolved
okay. I
issues,
mean, there's that stigma that if you go see a psychologist,
yeah,
that oh my gosh, he's crazy, and then yeah, and you think, but it's okay,
right.
because it's about really getting to the soul work of what needs to be done.
I
And
love
when
it.
you're able to do that and find out who are you going to reach out to hold you accountable.
Come
And
on.
so it's okay, mom, it's okay, young people, it's okay to seek out, but you have to, even if it's your pastor or a counselor or a mentor, someone that you can talk to that you trust.
Yeah,
That trust is essential. You have to have the trust there, and so that it won't be violated. Now, in other instances, for example, if we're in a school and the child brings something to your attention, that's going to be detrimental to the child. Of course, we have to alert the administrators and the counselors and the authorities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's different, but it's okay to seek counseling. There's nothing wrong with, and don't let it stigmatize you, because that does not define who you are.
Come on.
That does not define who you are. You're seeking help through prayer, through counseling, and ask the hard questions. Some people are afraid; they just don't want to ask. They're just like, oh no, I'm just going to keep it. Because if you don't seek out that assistance, then what happens, or seek out that help, then what happens is that it becomes embedded on the inside, and it
Come on.
becomes a repeated cycle. And you keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again, even when it comes to incest. I can tell you personally that I suffered incest, that I suffered domestic violence. But you know what? Through prayer,
Come
my
on.
God, come on now, through prayer and the support and through loved ones, I was able to get through it. But prior to having not done that, I was in an institution, sitting
Come
in
on.
there with people taking drugs, like trying to get through it. But it was through the talking, through
Yeah.
the writing, through being transparent.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be transparent. If you haven't been tested, okay, you ain't got no testimony.
Come on.
So somebody else is going through the same thing that I've gone through, but they're afraid to speak about it. And it's important that you open your mouth and you speak about it and be transparent. Don't care about what nobody else says, how they're going to look at you, what they're going to think. That doesn't make any difference. How does God see you? Because
Yeah.
you know what? That situation does not define who you are. That situation will not define your destiny, your purpose, where you're going. Because you know what? Somebody behind you has gone through the same thing. You're just
Yes.
paving the way for them to come out on the other end.
Come on. Come on. I love
Yes.
that. I love that. That situation does not define you. And I
Mhm.
don't know, as you were speaking, I just felt a release. I feel that somebody is getting free even now. And even as you begin to come back and look at the replay, we speak freedom and
Yes.
healing and wholeness to you. It's okay. That situation was not designed to define, well, it may have been designed to define you, but I'm here to tell you that God will take that situation
Turn
and
it around.
use it and turn it around for
Mhm.
your good. You just heard the woman of God say some of the things that she went through. She don't look like that she's been through any of that. But look at what God has done. So I am here to encourage you. It's okay. It's okay. Seek the help that you need, the necessary help that you need, so that you can get free, so that you can get delivered, so that we can hear your story, so that you can reach back and grab others, because we got to break this thing. Come on, because some of
Mhm.
this is generational curses,
Person.
and
Yes.
it's got to be broken. And we command it to be broken in the name of
Jesus.
Jesus. That's why we up here, we talking about it tonight. And I just
Mhm.
feel that release on tonight, that somebody is going to get free. I'm here to tell you, whatever it is that you've gone through, whether it was childhood, whether whatever you're going through now that you've carried all these years, God is saying it's time to be free. It's time to let it go, because there's somebody somewhere that needs to hear your testimony. Oh my
It's,
God.
and Ms. Richards, it's about the release.
Yes.
Forget about the shame, the guilt, the rejection.
Come
Okay.
on.
Because those are just labels, those are just titles and things like that. But you know what?
Yeah.
You don't need to wear it. You can pull it off. God, you've set me free. And just think, when you're able to release it
Ah,
and let God have his way,
come
and
on.
he begins to minister to you, and you begin, and he or she can minister to other young people. Say, I've been there. I know what it is. I've experienced it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But only God can come in and do that work on the inside,
Yeah.
so that when people look at you, you have no remnants. You know what I mean? Of that situation,
Come
of
on.
that trauma, that drama, that sadness. All of that is just wiped away.
Come on, come on.
All
Because
of
he
it.
said, the joy of the Lord is our
Our
strength.
strength.
And I'm
Yes.
telling you, I just feel that for somebody tonight, God wants to heal you every area that hurts. And I'm sure for some of you, it may be so bad that you don't want to talk about it, but it's okay. Find somebody that you can talk to, so you can get that release and get that healing, so that you can be about your Father's business, because you've held on to it too long. And this is the season, this is the moment, this is the time that God is saying, give it to him. Because like she said, it's not for you to wear. Glory be to God. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I want you to tell the people, I'm going to have to bring you back because I think there's something there. There's something there, especially with so much that's going on. Mental health is at an all-time high now. And I definitely want to bring you back because I want to touch on some more things, even in regards to that. But I want you to tell the people how they can connect with you. Talk to us about your products, any services, any events that you may have. Talk to us about that now.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. So you can really contact me on Facebook, Glenda Moton, Moton, on Instagram, Glenda.Moton, Moton, LinkedIn, etc. So I have a new book that's coming out. It's called Love Lessons and Lullabies, Hope and Aspirations for Teen Moms. I have a heart for young people, young ladies. And this is a new anthology, and I have 8 women who are phenomenal women who were teen moms. And they actually have written their stories about the challenges that they experienced and how they were victorious in the end, who are all very successful and have their own businesses. And so I'm having a Teen Moms Empowerment Summit. It's June 10th at the Betty T. Ferguson Complex Center in Miami Gardens, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. My website is The Pen of a Writer. I'm in the process of having that restructured, but you'll see flyers on my Facebook and Instagram that as soon as tickets are available, you can go on under The Pen of a Writer and you'll be able to purchase your ticket if you desire to attend the event. We're also going to be giving 2 to 3 scholarships away. It's called the Hope and Aspiration Scholarship Foundation, and it's to empower young women to continue or pursue their educational careers. And so I'm very pleased about that. So even if you don't want to, if you're unable to attend the event, the Teen Moms Empowerment Summit, perhaps you would like to make a donation towards the Scholarship Foundation. And I'm looking forward to that. And so we're looking to hopefully have the book out in May prior to the event, but we'll have that on the social media platforms to let everyone know.
Exactly. Thank you so much, woman of God, for coming. I am so excited, as I said, regarding the connection. And I just look forward to all that God is going to do in and through you, your ministry. If you are in Florida, you want to connect with her. And I encourage you, moms, if you're watching, make sure you and your daughter go to this amazing event. I'm looking forward to partnering with her and some things that I have that I'll be doing later on in the year. But woman of God, I have to bring you back, and I just want you to take just 30 seconds and just encourage those that's watching.
Oh, so let me just say this just to the listening audience. I'm so honored to be here on the LaKeisha Richards Show. And you're not listening by chance. You're here because God ordained you to be here to hear this message. And let me just say to you all that hope is never lost. And so if you press in to God and just believe and stand in faith, knowing that all things are possible to him who believes. And so I'm a woman of faith, and I just believe that God has you here for a purpose and a reason. And so I encourage you, don't give up. Pursue your dreams, pursue your passion, whatever your niche is. If it's writing, pursue it. Write. Whatever is placed on your heart, go after it. Pursue it with the love of God, and he will download things to you and open up doors that are unimaginable. And there will be people that will be placed in your path that can help you along your journey. So with that, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the listening audience for allowing me to share my story.
Yes, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to connecting with you again. Make sure you follow her on all of her social media networks, and also make sure you go and you purchase her books. Well, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight, and you know how we do it. We'll be right back here on next Thursday. God bless you all, and we love you. 3AB got the sauce, boy.